Yeah, it's another episode. It's shaking my head a little bit. Godfather of Harlem, Season 2, Episode 3. This episode is actually interesting. Not saying that all the other episodes were interesting. This one just happens to be really interesting. Or exciting. Not actually interesting, exciting. Excuse me. So, what do we got going on in this one? Trying something new here. I'm just going to try and do rapid fire. Just bang, 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 bang. Knock them out as fast as I possibly can. So, Bumpy's granddaughter, Bumpy's daughter's really his granddaughter. I don't know why I had to complicate things. A little girl who's been entrusted into Bumpy and his wife's care, still related to him. They witnessed some like literally violent acts. I don't know how to explain it. They witnessed a couple of individuals getting their ass beat. Shook her up because one of the individuals the same age, and the other individual ain't never harmed nobody. Best way to put it. Watched him get beat up pretty bad, and of course that sends Bumpy into action, because both his daughters are there, and their lives, their safety and well-being was threatened, pretty much. Not directly, but pretty much it was threatened. They would have got a little bit closer, they probably would have been beat up too. That sends Bumpy into action, and we are introduced to a very despicable character, right? But of course, by default, I guess, or by association, Bumpy's in bed with this person. The police, was he a captain, or he was, I don't know, whatever it was. He was a high-ranking police officer. He's in bed with him because this guy's in bed with Chin, who's not it's his frenemy. That's the best word to describe that. It's his frenemy. So he's in bed with him. Even Chin comes around and and a little crumb on there. Even Chin comes around and tries to plead with him because he's got these people that his officers just beat up in the basement, just sitting there. Like, you're not gonna give them any medical care or anything like that. And I'm like, man, I'm getting more and more riled up. And then it comes down, this guy like shaking down Bumpy for extra money, right? And Bumpy don't play that. So he winds up getting this guy's address, and of course, you don't want to play with me. Yeah, I guess that's what the character's saying. He has somebody kidnap his family in order to get things rolling in the right direction. It is what it is, man. That dude is definitely a dirtbag. At least the character is. The character's definitely a dirtbag. So yeah, that's that little part. That issue was resolved. That's a piece of cilantro. I was cooking this. I cook right here. My stove is like right there. And then there's a wall. I don't know why I'm telling you that. But anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, so that ends. That's done. Meanwhile, I think it's important. Well, not important. I think it's interesting. Whatever. I'm bringing it up. So Bumpy's daughter, she's uber conflicted about telling the young lady that I'm actually your mother, not your big sister. She's so conflicted. Like, should I tell her? I don't want to tell her. But is it better not to tell her? She's right. She's running that idea in and around her head. And put this lighter down. I don't know why I put this lighter down. She's running that idea through her head, and seeing her struggle with coming to grips to that. Because I don't think she's in a good enough place to take care of the child. And I don't know what she expects to happen as a child is supposed to be taken out of care of her father and stepmother, and then she's just going to raise her or something like that. I mean, of course they've grown attached to her. They've had her since she was a small child. So, hey, I don't know. I don't know about that one. What else happens in this episode? There was a couple of things that happened in this episode. Stella, Chin's daughter. She's on a warpath basically, and she's got a lot of spunk. She's on a warpath. She wants to get revenge for her boyfriend being murdered, which is understandable. I mean, some people, if you push them too far, you're gonna push back, and this is her chance to push back. Of course, she's never killed anybody, but she's already thinking about doing it. She comes close. Seems like it's her first time shooting a firearm. She hits the guy in the leg. He's like, "Oh man, what is going on?" But I think it was kind of lazy on their part. I mean, the writers as inconcerned as I'm speaking gibberish now. I think it was lazy on the part of the writers to make him, after he's been shot in his leg, start screaming out, "Shoot her, shoot her." So just justify the action that was coming next, and wind up the guy who's basically, he's trying to make a name for himself in an organization. He's working at Chin. He's trying to appease, I guess, that's right, use of that word, trying to appease Stella, and he winds up killing the guy. He doesn't like him anyway. He winds up killing him. Where's I going with that? I don't know. But yeah, she was on a warpath from the beginning of the episode. She's really, really ready to take this guy's life. She winds up hitting him in the leg, and then the guy comes and he finishes him off. Now, it's all this talk of him being a made man. So where does this go? Oh, I was talking about how I felt that was lazy on their part, the writer's part, by just making him scream, "Shoot her, shoot her," because it makes the viewer feel a certain way about that about that character, like, he deserves to die. I'm not saying the character doesn't deserve to die. I don't know where I was going with that. Maybe I'll figure it out one day. I'm all over the place. I got a scratch. That's it right there. What else happens in this episode? I don't think I'm missing any of the major points. I think I hit all the major points in this episode. I'm trying to think, is there something I'm missing that needs to be talked about? Talked about the captain of the police. Talked about Bumpy. I talked about his daughters. Talked about guys getting beat up. I talked about Stella and her old fiasco. That's pretty much it in this episode. So, if you like me trying to remember an episode I literally just watched, go check out some of my other videos. Breaking Bad. I did the miniseries Chernobyl. Got a few movies sprinkled in there. The Wire, Futurama. A lot of reaction videos. And subscribe. Just go check those out and subscribe. I keep blocking the camera. I might have to figure that one out. What?